Big, bold and rash. There's nothing quite like a night at the darts.
Oh, bring it on!
What started off as a pub pastime,
The toast of the drinking classes, the pinnacle of the public bars,
became the nation's favourite game. It stars household names.
Game's up!
I was like the Beckham of darts, I suppose, in them days.
I wasn't there to be famous, I was there to be the best.
Then a devastating split threatened the very future of the sport.
If we'd have lost the court case, they'd have sued us and we'd have lost probably everything we got.
Before transforming itself once again to be larger, louder and loved more than ever.
Oh, astonishing!
Darts is the greatest sport in the world.
This is the incredible story of its rise, fall and resurrection. Nobody can resist the power of darts.
Let's have the jolly old game of darts. Bing! Let's have the jolly old game of darts. Bing! First you get a double, then right off you go. But you needn't trouble if you don't know how to drum. So let's have a jolly old game of darts. Bing! Put a little gladness in your hearts. Yesterday at tea, Crosby said to me, let's have a jolly old game of darts. Bing!
Bonkers.
Darts is great. There's 10,000 people in there. They come along dressed up, they want to get on TV, you got the birds with the...
I wake up every day is a daydream.
I think they love the atmosphere. You know, a lot of people explain to me when they've come out, that's one of the best nights I've ever had. I think they get involved in the atmosphere. I suppose a bit like when you go see a pop group.
We were ready for that sort of raucous fun, for that laddish culture, if you like. Although, having said that, there are lots of women at the darts as well.
I think it was Bristol. Somebody said you can take the darts out of the pub, but you can never take the pub out of the darts. And that stayed with it.
Some people pay for thrills.
I actually saw once, I think Superman was having a fight with Scooby-Doo. I think Scooby-Doo beat him.
I think it's the atmosphere the darts is played in is the killer. You know, that's what really makes it a special evening. Great game, unbelievable atmosphere.
You get a whole night of entertainment when you go. You know, you pay your money, you get in, you can have fun, you know, some like to have a drink, they dress up, you get to go out and have a good laugh. If a game of football's going one way, it's normally going to continue to go that way. With darts, someone could be winning, then all of a sudden they're losing. And it's so choppy-changey, and that's why I think people are drawn to it.
There's no sporting event can quite compare with darts. It's a loud, raucous party atmosphere and requires a real strength of character to cope and concentrate.
Well, sometimes you don't try to think on it, you know, but if you think and you see it back on TV, it's amazing.
It's impossible to blank it out, and if any other player says they can blank it out, they're a liar. You just get on with it and cope. Cope your best you can.
The crowd is always fine, you know, wherever I come, I'm always okay. In Holland, Germany, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England, it doesn't matter. Barney armies everywhere.
Well, it's not that difficult, but it all depends how your confidence is and how you play. If you play well and you're into the game, then it's easier to concentrate. But I think it also has to do with my emotion, what I give in the game, and my celebrations, and that's just me. And they shave my head, and they do the fake heads and stuff like that. It's fun, but I don't even see it when I'm on the stage. I only see a lot of people.
It's an individual sport, so people seem to relate to you. You know, when I go out, it's our Phil. Now, I've never met this person in my life, but I'm their Phil, you know what I mean? My grandkids say I'm trendy. You're trendy, Grandad.
They're trendsetters. Without darts, big guys like me wouldn't be able to walk around with their shirts hanging out. They made it possible that in everyday scenarios, people could walk around with their shirt untucked.
The game of darts dates back centuries, and despite the working men's image, it's always had a broad appeal.
The game is now the industry of Islington and the craze of Kensington. The board with the double and the treble has even invaded the shingle. So far, there's no special costume for darts, but those will do quite nicely, thank you.
The British public love darts because it is a traditional part of English popular culture. It was born of the English public house, and it was all associated with beer and good laughs.
You pick a set of darts out and you actually throw it and you get what you're aiming for. It's a lovely feeling. It's a very, very easy game to play, but it's a very, very hard game to play well.
Nobby Clark here on the line there. Nobby Clark, the tall, mustachioed figure from Rochdale, a window cleaner. So he is used to cleaning up.
43. Most people try to play darts and they're quite happy to get the thing free in the board at all. Get one in the 20, oh, look at you.
It's one of the sports where you finish watching it, you go, oh, I'm just going to have a go, you know, and you don't have to go to the council and say, can we get some funding? Just go to the pub, it's brilliant.
In the same way that fighters have come from poor areas and become multi-millionaires, darts offers that avenue now to change your life.
I had 3 jobs. You know, I used to work on a factory, and then I used to repair cars for people, and then I was working behind a bar, and I thought, well, playing darts, is it better than doing 3 jobs?
Yes! Game shot in the match. Bill Trainer.
And where you're on, say, 70 quid a week wages, these tournaments were like £750 or 500 quid or £1,000. I started picking money up. So I thought, this is good, this.
I still speak to so many people that say, so then what do you do apart from darts? Where do you earn your money? And you know, it takes quite a lot of people to understand that, you know, you earn a good living from it. And you're away probably 45 weekends a year. It's a gruelling process at times.
The time to recover, you don't got that anymore, you know. Every week is a new event, but it means every week you got new chances. I'm suffering diabetes now, so it's not always really okay. Sometimes you got blurred vision here or pain in my eyes and I can't see on stage for a couple of seconds. So it will have its toll.
I'm away from home a lot and sometimes it's difficult, but on the other side, I can go twice a year on holiday.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Further proof of the nation's affection for darts is that, like the Queen's speech and reruns of The Great Escape, it's always on TV over the festive season.
I think what has helped it is the fact that the World Championships are over Christmas. It's a fixed spot in the calendar, and you want to go to the TV and watch a bit of sport, and the darts is there, and it's gladiatorial.
Greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call.
It's almost like a Christmas tradition now, isn't it? It's, you know, you sit round there, your nana falls asleep, you know, Uncle Harry's like farting his way through turkey sandwiches, and the darts is on, you know, it's great. And even if you're not there in this massive hall of people having the most fun they've ever had in their lives, you do feel part of it. You know, you genuinely do feel part of it.
So how did darts become this enormous multi-million-pound industry? It's an extraordinary story and involves accusations of betrayal, treachery and a legal battle that nearly tore the sport apart. Darts is one of the UK's most popular televised sports. Millions regularly tune in to see the top players in action. It's all a far cry from its early days on the box, when an ex-Yorkshire and England cricketer brought the game to the nation's attention.
Indoor League, VTR 8950, Part 1, Take 1.
Indoor League was an amazing programme. It covered all sorts of things like shove halfpenny and all what I would like to call crypto sports. There were loads of sports that wouldn't be considered sport.
Now then, just slipped out for a minute from the biggest bonanza of sporting skill I've ever clapped eyes on. This bunch of lads are kings at those sports you get up and down the land in every pub.
That's a better one, that's a flopper.
Let's kick off with the darts. We've got 16 of the best players in the north here. Now remember, all you lots out at Trent, this is real darts on a Yorkshire board. No trebles, no fluky shots, just a hell of a lot of skill.
Yes, yes, is it there? No, it's outside.
Of course, there was a thing with the Yorkshire dartboard. I mean, I grew up in Lancashire. I never knew there was such a thing as a Yorkshire dartboard.
Bang! Oh, very close.
I mean, apart from that, Yorkshire people like to have their own stuff and be different. What was the point of that? I could never work it out.
Oh, 2-8s, 2-8s. One up. And what's that? I can't see, I can't see.
I think the reason darts took off, rather than any of the other sports that they showed, was the fact, rather like snooker, it was an ideal sport for TV, in that you could focus on the players, you could see the characters.
The News of the World tournament was another early TV triumph. Pub players performed in front of thousands at the Alexandra Palace, with millions more watching World of Sport at home.
There was various regional TV companies getting involved. Then the News of the World was taken on by ITV World of Sport, with Dave Lanning doing the commentaries.
We have Ron Church in his lucky pullover. He's worn it right through the competition and he hasn't been beaten yet. 100!
It's the old-fashioned days of darts, really. I mean, the NDAGB, the National Darts Association of Great Britain, that was their World Championship.
Yes! The third dart! Ivor Hodgkinson has done it! The toast of the drinking classes, the pinnacle of the public bars in 1973, Ivor Hodgkinson!
World of Sport was covering News of the World ads on the Palace. I went down the front there and spoke to them and said, well, I think we've got something you might be interested in.
Ollie Croft was a prime mover in the London darts scene, but by the early 70s he had his sights set on the game nationally and called a meeting that would change darts history.
Ollie Croft is extremely important. Mainly I would suggest as a leader of men. In that historical meeting at Muswell Hill in '72, there are a good number of organisers around the table, but you need somebody to harness them, somebody with a business mind.
We thought we're British, yeah, British darts, yeah, and organisation. They come up with a British darts organisation. It covered everything, you know, and that's how because then it was called the BDO, yeah. Everybody wanted to play darts. It's very, very addictive, and if you get involved, you're very passionate. We try to encourage women to come, we encourage for the kids to come and everything. You know, we made it a big family thing. And of course, then that was the start of what we call the BDO family, yeah.
Without Ollie Croft, darts would not be where it is today. The sponsors just queued up. The people couldn't get enough of darts, the sponsors couldn't get enough of darts, TV companies couldn't get enough of darts.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, first quarter-final, I'm going to toss to see who goes first on the first and...
Under BDO management and Ollie's leadership, the game's popularity grew and grew. Even celebrities got in on the act.
34.
So now we have Knick-Knack, resident villain.
48.
He has never thrown darts before, but he is a dab hand with knives and bottles.
Thames TV, Southern TV, Granada, Yorkshire, Central, Tyne-Tees, there was one at Bristol, I can't remember his name, Anglia, BBC One, BBC Two, World of Sport, and another company down in Devon. Oh, they all wanted darts.
Yes, he has got it! A superb final. Some of the best darts surely ever seen on television. Great stuff.
The first wave of darts celebrities were like people down the pub, and you know, mostly pretty lovable people down the pub.
Eric Bristow!
Nobody was more colourful or charismatic than the crafty Cockney. Eric Bristow led the way in this new breed of sporting superstars.
Isn't it super to see it ending on that kind of note?
How famous was it in the 80s? Well, number one, and I wasn't there to be famous, I was there to be the best. That's all I was there for, and that just comes along with a job.
Representing the Eastern Counties, Bobby George.
I was like the Beckham of darts, I suppose, in them days. Everyone knew us because we had loads of darts on the telly, Yeah, the audience was unbelievable.
And he has done it! 15 darts again. Championship stuff from Bobby George.
More recognised than a football player because it's on your boat race, isn't it? The old camera straight away. That's why I wore the glitter, so everyone would remember that idiot plays darts with the glitter on.
That is quite astonishing. He halves his score and gets 3 bullseyes from what only the 5th time ever in televised darts.
I like John Lowe.
Now he wants the ball to win the title, taking his time and doing it quite magnificently.
I imagined when he finished playing darts and he'd won, he'd like get his darts and he'd put them in a box, and he'd put the box in his pocket, and he'd get in his Cortina. He probably had like a GL, he didn't have a gear, he wasn't flash, and he'd go home, and he'd get home and his pyjamas would be there and he'd put them on, he'd just go to bed and that'd be it, and he'd get up the next day and play darts.
Yeah! He has done it! A moment of darting history! The first ever televised 9-dart 501!
I had a great life, mate. Hey, listen, I died 5 years ago. I done the job, mate. Don't worry about it. You know, you got all these rock and roll stars and done a little bit with the bands and whatever. We had it with the darts.
With personalities bigger than their waistlines, there was tension at times between players. The task of keeping everyone in order fell to one man.
Living by numbers. 180.
Beard lucky for you? Well, I'm going to keep it for the embassies. I'm sure Ollie Croft will be pleased to know that.
I've been asked, how do you handle Bristow? How do you handle jockey John Lowe? I didn't handle them at all. We got kids, they was young, and we looked after them, and that's all we had to do. Some used to call me Dad, you know. We travelled the world and looked after them, like Mum and Dads do.
Ollie Croft and Lorna, his wife, who's deceased now, was like my second mum and dad. I mean, good people.
He's like Family Guy, he's all family. Yeah, I like Ollie. Not in everything he done, but I don't knock Ollie Croft ever because Ollie Croft gives a chance. So you mustn't knock the guy that give you a chance to do it.
Because they respected me. You know, I'd never told them what to do, not to play darts, and show them how to behave, but I never told them how to play darts.
Now this should really be good night, nurse.
The good times wouldn't last. Bob Anderson's triumph at the 1988 Masters was the last major event televised by ITV, as the channel axed darts from its schedule.
And the worst thing they'd done was stop putting darts on telly. I think they'd done a wrong in there, to be honest with you.
We had done an MR5 World Match Play, and we only got 1 million viewers. So whether that was the start of it or not, I don't know. But all the RTV went off the screens, you know.
The BBC also cut back its coverage. The whole darts industry felt the impact. Prize money fell dramatically. Ollie Croft says there was no way the BDO could replace the televised events at short notice. But nevertheless, there was unrest amongst the players.
Anybody can run a business when people are coming to you, knocking on your door, sponsors and TV. But when they stop and you've got to go and knock on their door, you need a different person to take your business across that void. The BDO didn't know how to do that.
It wasn't being run right, so we needed somebody to come in and run it right.
Ollie Croft says the BDO brought millions of pounds of sponsorship into its events, but Eric Bristow's manager, Dick Alex, decided it was time to act. He teamed up with Tommy Cox, who looked after Jockey Wilson. It was the start of what would become a revolution within the sport.
We were in a bit of a state. The whole thing was slipping away, and we went to the BDO 3 times. They paid lip service to us, patted us on the head and expected us to go away.
They made approaches to us. They wanted to take control of the World Professional.
We had meetings with them. I remember one, and Ollie did not say one word. We were there 7 hours. He had the others sitting alongside him. They were talking, and we thought we had a deal. He walked out, and I'm reliably informed by one of the people who was there. Ollie says, "I'm not having any of that."
We had meetings and this, that and the other, and then they decided to boycott us and this, that and the other, and fortunately we just stayed our ground.
We risked, and the original players risked everything. They banked on
the hard work and the promise of myself and Tommy Cox that we would do everything we could to bring their livelihood back.
Dick Alex and Tommy Cox had powerful allies. 16 of the world's top players, including 7 former world champions, wanted change, and they were ready for a fight.
I had a meeting and I had 3 questions to ask to Ollie. I said, look, can you guarantee us like 2 or 3 tournaments on TV next year? He said, no. Second question was, OK, do you mind if we run our own tournaments on TV? Because Sky were interested. And he said, yes. And then the third question was, well, OK, if we do run our own tournaments on TV, what would happen? And he said, you'll be banned. That's how arrogant he was. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need you. You're just a dart player.
Ollie Croft denies Eric Bristow put the players' events proposals to him. But the relationship between the BDO and its top stars had reached breaking point.
It was his business. It was his baby, you know, and I don't think anybody could walk in and tell him what to do. And I think he took it very personal.
OK, there's 16 of them. We had 100,000 players worldwide. So we decided to stick our ground and just go along with what we had.
Did it feel like a betrayal to you, though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think they was all friends, they were all family. I think the managers were behind it, you know, because obviously they thought we owed them a living. You know, we don't owe them a living. We run the sport, and that's what we did. We took the sport from nothing to worldwide sport.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling.
They thought that they owned the game, and they didn't. No one owns a game, it's a game.
Don't think of leaving.
If we didn't break away, darts would be finished now.
Need you by my side.
So in 1992, the top players set up the World Darts Council. Banned by the BDO almost immediately, a fierce battle broke out. Darts would never be the same again.
They're my heroes. I love people that just gamble everything on the roll of a dice. The vast majority of those players gambled their entire sporting existence on the belief that this could be done better. There's a movie just in that. I mean, it's the pressure they were put under, financial, legal, you know, the fact that they were seen to be mercenaries, but they had a belief. And that belief, of course, today has been repaid in spades.
By 1993, darts was in turmoil. An alliance of disillusioned players and managers set up the World Darts Council in a bid to run the game. But Ollie Croft and the BDO, who had governed the sport for 20 years, would not give up power easily.
We ran it for the sport, you know. They was more looking after their living. You know, we wasn't there for their living. We was there for the sport, to create the sport and build the sport up.
Money talks. You know, if you can go down one avenue that's going to give your wife and your kids and yourself a better living, then you've got to go down that avenue. Life's too short to, oh yeah, I'll stick with you because you did this and you did that. No, that doesn't work in business, I'm afraid.
Refusing to back down, Rod Harrington and his fellow rebels found themselves in exile. Unable to compete in BDO events and under pressure financially, Chris Johns was the first rebel to return to the BDO, followed by one of the superstars of darts, Mike Gregory. It led to a bitter fallout.
I managed to make it at the time. I phoned him up that day and I told him I would never ever speak to him again.
That was sad. It was sad to see, like, Mike Gregory used to be my room partner. And everybody's looking around, everybody's ringing each other and thinking, right, you know, who's going to be next?
Draw off the barrel.
The 16 rebels departed from the BDO. I believe 2 came back, but one way or another, the WDC got through its first year, got through its first 18 months, ran its first World Championship on its own down at Purfleet, and I think became more successful than the BDO had hoped.
The man tasked with organising that first WDC World Championship was Tommy Cox. And while forced to recruit some unfamiliar faces, he didn't go as far as allowing the celebrity warm-up acts to compete.
We're walking the unknown, really. We had to fill up the places. And we only had 24 players when we filled the place. because everybody else was under pain of death or excommunication, as it was, from the BDO at the time if they played with us.
We couldn't get 32 players, so we invited a few Americans.
Some of them were reasonable, but they weren't World Championship class, if I'm honest. But they made up the numbers. We did have all of the previous World Champions there as well. So after the first round, you know, it was very credible. Some of the first round games weren't so great.
Dennis Priestley stands astride the world of darts. He is the rightful world champion, and surely nobody will argue with that.
The rebel players and managers at the WDC were determined to succeed. Ollie Croft and the BDO were equally adamant that they wouldn't. The case went to the High Court.
So then we had to go to court.
12 months there, it was like dodgy. You know, was Ollie going to win?
If we'd have lost the court case, they'd have sued us and we'd have lost probably everything we got. But I've always been a worker, so I wasn't too worried. I thought, well, if I lose and it goes belly up, then I'll go back to work.
For the first 4 years, I actually paid money to keep the PDC going, and we took out a second mortgage to fight the court case.
Well, BDO cost us £250,000. That's all the money we put in there in sport. What we got out of sport, put into a key. That cost us 250 grand, and that was the members' money. That wasn't our money.
You've got to stick to something that you believe in, you know. Otherwise, you've got nothing.
A settlement was finally reached. The WDC had to give up their claim to be the world governing body and rebranded themselves as the Professional Darts Corporation. However, players now generally had the freedom to compete in whichever events they wished.
Decided in the end that we agreed to compromise the state that we would work together. We could work together, yeah. We moved forward and worked together.
It wasn't totally what we wanted, but it was the main thing that we wanted, which was the freedom to play without problems.
We only ever promised the players we would try and get it back to the way it was. Well, I think we delivered that and a whole lot more.
It had been an exhausting fight. The newly named PDC needed an injection of energy and enthusiasm. It came from a charismatic sporting impresario.
It's all down to winning, and that's what we've done all year. And that's what we're going to do next year, and the year after, and the year after that.
Barry Hearn had a track record of doing extremely well with boxing and snooker and other sports. And he was an ideal man for the job.
I mean, they were struggling, obviously. It was losing money, but they were such resilient characters. The players that walked away were firm. The people behind the scenes were very genuine in their affection for and their belief in what darts could be.
Game shot!
Barry Young come in, best negotiator I've ever seen in my life. We've started to do well then.
We concentrated really on the strengths of the game. Firstly, the characters of the players. You know, so they had to be built individually.
Peter! One dart! Manly!
All sport is a soap opera, and darts is the biggest example where ordinary guys can be made superheroes with enough work.
My name is Phil Taylor.
Darts finally had a new superstar. Phil Taylor powered his way to title after title, and people began to take notice.
One press man said to me, you know, when you keep winning and winning and winning, we've got to write about you, because you're British, and you keep winning. And I won the World Championship, I think, 8 years on the trot.
He became the one iconic figure that drove the PDC brand forward, because all sport is about excellence, not about mediocrity. And Phil was, as I say, the man at the front, performing at a level that other people had never performed before.
To be the best in the world on 16 separate occasions, that is extraordinary. Once you've been through all of that 4, 5, 6 times, you'd think, I'm the best darts player there's ever been. You wouldn't think, it's not enough. But even now, 16 is not enough.
You know, if you've got one winner one year, one winner next year, it becomes... You know, you need somebody in a sport. You need the Tiger Woods, the David Beckhams, the Manchester United. You need somebody up there to shoot down.
I once saw him after an event and he had a van. It had the shock thing on it. I thought, that's living the life, isn't it, if you're a dart player? What do you want to do? Do you want a kidney-shaped swimming pool? Do you want to go to Acapulco? No. I want a van with my name on it.
He actually lifted everybody else's performance because they saw the amount of money you can earn by being successful, and so they had to pay the same price that Phil Taylor's paid for 30 years, which is living as a consummate pro, practicing, living right, giving 100%.
With the PDC now established as a multi-million-pound business, its former rival, the British Darts Organisation, has carried on its role at grassroots level and continues to hold its own major events.
Today is an open competition. We get all the pub players and everything take part because everybody comes along hoping they're going to play one of the top names, and that's a thrill. Hello. It is my family. Rather than having a family, darts is our family, and that's the bit that keeps everybody involved in darts. You gradually progress all the way up and you become addicted and you can't leave it. It's just the appeal and how everybody is all one.
Despite the rulings of the court case, the reality is players must choose between either the BDO or PDC, and in recent years many top stars have moved to the more lucrative PDC.
Everybody's come from the BDO. I came from the BDO. You know, everybody starts their career with the BDO. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can bet yourself, if you start playing football, say you start playing for Port Vale, which is my little team, and you're a good footballer, you're going to go to Man United.
In the BDO at the time, it was very, very, very hard to make a living. You know, it's pretty much impossible unless you was a top probably 2 or 3 player. And at the time I wasn't.
You want to play with the best players in the world and where the money is, and that's at the PDC. And I couldn't make a living at the BDO, and now I make a good living.
I've learned so much since I've joined the PDC. But I'll always be indebted to the BDO for the experience it gave me. You know, but you have to move on eventually.
Martin Wolfie Adams is one of those who opted to stay with the BDO, although a decade ago he did compete in several PDC events.
Game shot the 16th player, Martin Adams.
He's enjoyed huge success with the BDO, winning their world title 3 times, and doesn't regret never joining the PDC.
Darts has been my whole life over the last 20 years. I'm my own man, I do what I want, when I want, where I want and how I want. And I don't get tied in with contracts that restrict what you can do and where you can play your darts. You know, at that time, I mean, if I'd have signed that contract, I would not have been able to play for England. And that would never have fitted with me because I was captain at the time. And I love playing for my country. It was just a game of darts for me. It was an opportunity to have a bit of an earner, take out some that they think I should, maybe I wouldn't have done, and surprise a few people. It was good fun and I loved it.
It's Scotty to Hottie. Scott, way!
Rather confusingly, both organisations still run their own World Championships. Scott Waits won the BDO title in 2013, but he too has shown no desire to join the PDC.
What's the PDC? Enlighten me, I don't know what you're on about. Oh, you mean the other side, the dark side? To be honest, I get my fix of playing them at the Grand Slam. I always do quite well at Grand Slam. But I enjoy my weekends away, and I play darts, and I love playing darts. I don't play darts for the money. I think if you want to play darts for the money and you want to play it serious and everything else, then go to the PDC by all means.
There's still a few good players on the BDO that have decided to stay there. I don't really know why, because the money is with us. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion on what they want to do.
When they get to a certain stage, the ones that have stayed with us are the loyal ones that aren't interested in that side. It's their choice, they're free to move.
Money's not everything in this world. As long as you're happy doing what you're doing, then what's the problem?
It's ever so easy to hide behind, oh, you know, we love our darts. We're a family. What it means is, you're not very good.
It's 20 years since a seismic split in darts. The PDC now runs the professional game and it's big business, while the BDO prides itself on being the custodian of the sport at grassroots level. One notable difference is the BDO runs women's events. Female players have never received the acclaim of their male counterparts. Even the most successful struggle for exposure.
Let's go. I'm 9 times ladies world champion, 5 times Winmore world champion, and just received an MBE as well, which is absolutely brilliant. There are some brilliant players in the ladies game, and we are coming on in leaps and bounds, and we do need more media attention, and we deserve it.
It's hard going because we've not really been recognised all these years, but the new video, the old video, they've always got a place for ladies anyway.
40. The PDC don't cater for the ladies' game. I don't know whether they feel that ladies have the same skill that they can bring to the game. Are they as entertaining as the men? But I think you need to sit and look at some of our ladies and some of the games that go on our stage, like the finals that will be on tonight. And ladies can play as good darts as men.
Women's darts is very hard. We won the Women's World Championships, and funny enough, the people who from the BDO says, yeah, you don't do anything for women. As soon as we did something, they didn't play in it, and it died a death. So, but we don't run it at the moment. But it's not to say that we won't run it in years to come. But there isn't the amount of women that play darts that can make it, really competitive.
They're not actually interested in the ladies. And the ladies that they're actually interested in, when they did make a point of it, you have to be slim, very pretty, if you like, a model style.
Game, shot, and the match. Dieter Hedman.
What we say at the PDC is that we're an open organisation. We don't call ourselves a men's tour. This is a darts tour. If the women are good enough, then they have exactly the same opportunities as the men. They can play for the same prize money as the men because they're in the same event. Sexism, colour, race, religion doesn't come into it. You've got 3 darts in your hand. There's a dartboard in front of you. Show us how good you are. You're in.
There's no doubt the two organisations have very different approaches to the game. And after 2 decades of separation, they seem further apart than ever.
We play proper darts. In many ways, you could say a lot of what the PDC do, it's a bit of a circus, isn't it?
What is proper darts? I mean, proper darts is people who throw 9 darters, throw 10 darters back to back, 180s back to back. That's proper darts. Doesn't matter who runs it, that is proper darts.
44.
Our setup is totally different to the PDC. They only cater for 128 players. And out of those 128, it's really 32 players they cater for. And they're the ones that they use for all their top competition.
PDC is a hard graft tour for winners. It's not for the average Joe. The average Joe, they can play in the BDO and I think they'll enjoy their darts and they'll have a lovely day out. But the PDC is by its nature elitist. So, you make the call which side of life you want to live on.
Game shot the first leg. James Wilson.
It's different people. It's totally different people. Fans are different. There's not many people do both sides. They choose, and they want the hype and they want the half-naked ladies and things like that and all the alcohol. And then there's others that come to ours just want to see a good game of darts.
Baby, baby, baby!
Crowds on PDC events come to me as not dart supporters. They come across as a crowd that just wants to get drunk and be on TV. Compare that to a BDO crowd, and they're absolutely brilliant. They give good order when the darts are on, and they have a great day.
36. If you don't want to get involved in this game, where there's millions and millions of pounds involved, and you're worried about noise, don't get into it. Go play snooker. No, just sit there. Shh.
It does look Larry, but I think we've got to remember it's pantomime, a lot of it. It's fancy dress, it's steins of lager, you know. I don't think really there's anything bad going on. I just think they're having a good time and they're enjoying themselves.
Rowdiness is an art form, isn't it? You know, people having fun, they make noise. People don't go out to a darts match to have trouble. They go out to have fun.
When you first start playing darts, you're playing a pub, and it's like you're playing on Thursday or Friday night, and you're playing an important dart match at the end of the pub, and somebody puts a jukebox on. You're not going to go down there to the end of the 12 people sitting around there, say to them, "Can you turn the jukebox off? Because we're playing darts." They say, "Knob off."
So, will there ever be one unified darts organisation? In 2009, Barry Hearn tried to make it happen and failed.
A few years ago, I offered them a couple of £1 million to the BDO to say, look, why don't we put all of this together and to have a unified approach to the exploitation of darts, both the amateur and the professionals. I don't know what I was doing, giving these people a couple of £1 million. I may as well just tipped it out the window. And looking back on it, they turned me down, and actually, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and that stupidity from me will never exist again.
Game shot on the mat!
We would not consider it because their darts is not our darts.
Open ladies champion!
We are recognised as a sports body, and all our money that we make as a profit goes back into the sports. Theirs is a business.
BDC is a lot about money. You know, there's no question about that, because all sport today is, and unless you're an ostrich sticking your head in the sand, that's the world.
Let the BDO carry on. It's a fantastic... Let them have their own World Championship as well. We know it's Mickey Mouse. We know it is. All the people at home know it is.
We will keep plugging and we will keep doing what we're doing. We're here to stay. We ain't here to go. We're not here to fold the BDO. We're going to be here forever, because that's what we are. Long may it continue. Get that.
What next for darts? Could its incredible journey continue all the way to the Olympics?
The question of whether darts can be an Olympic sport should not be can it be, it should be why isn't it?
When you look at some of the stuff in the Olympics, you know, the pommel horse, for instance, not a lot of entertainment in the pommel horse.
I'd rather watch darts at the Olympics than golf.
Anyone explain to me why shooting is an Olympic sport and darts isn't?
If darts wasn't such a working man's game and wasn't derived from a pub, I would say, you know, it probably would be there already.
It starts becoming a bit too serious then once it's in the Olympics. I start getting a little bit like some old major from the 1920s. Is that the sort of thing that we wish for our Olympians? That Steve Redgrave is on a par with some chap who's hurled a little miniature piece of tungsten into a cork? I find myself getting a bit like that.
I used to watch all these athletes years and years ago. We all watched them. Half of them are druggies. I watched them win a gold medal, and then 3 weeks later, they haven't got a gold medal anymore. We're not druggies. We like a beer. Nothing wrong with that.
From its humble beginnings in the British pub, the game of darts now has its sights set on world domination. And the conquest has already begun.
The future for us, we're travelling abroad. You know, we're now doing a world tour. We started Australia and Dubai, I think China are coming in now, and Japan and America and Canada. You know, it's going to go worldwide.
I think it's time for me and you to take over the world.
Already we're seeing this year the first event in Dubai, huge success. The first event in Sydney, huge success. Next year, Asia. The last 12 years has been a roller coaster of fun and laughter and money. I think the next 10 to 12 years will be watching darts transform itself into working man's golf.
Let's hope it doesn't get gentrified. There'd be nothing worse at the final seeing a hummus stand. You know, hummus and darts don't mix, do they?
Darts is cracking night. You must come to a darts night, honestly. If you like a drink, come to a darts night. If you don't like a drink, say, oh, watch Coronation Street. Who gives a monkeys?